Ezekiel Elliott's ruling will be announced on Friday, or at early as Friday, according to NFL.com. Now, when we look at Ezekiel Elliott, we're definitely looking at one of the best running backs in the NFL. A lot of people say that Le'Veon Bell's better or David Johnson's better, which is respectable. I understand that, but I also very high on Zeke. I think that you have to play as an elite running back in the Dallas Cowboys system. But obviously, he has a very good O-line. And when people talk about his pass catching, I really feel like he doesn't really need to do that because Dak Prescott usually gets the ball out so quickly, or he runs around a lot of the times. And usually, mobile quarterbacks don't really have to check down to a running back on like some sort of zone or whatever. But on other news, Ezekiel is finally going to hear his ruling, and that's very important because if you know about Ray Rice, with the fact that Roger Goodell kind of hid the fact that there was a camera in the elevator when Ray Rice punched his wife, Janelle, I think that was her name. But when he punched her in the face, he only got a 2-game suspension, which was very controversial. So Ezekiel Elliott will be suspended indefinitely. I don't see no more than 4 games. I would say, or no less than 4 games. I think that's a better term to announce it. And that could definitely play a toll on the Dallas Cowboys. I made multiple videos on this, but it also could be good for the Cowboys because we could finally see what Dak Prescott does. Now, I feel like Dak Prescott is very reliant on the run game. I definitely feel it is if you take away the run game, I really want to see how well he does. He doesn't really throw the ball that much, especially when you're in the modern era of the NFL where it's all about passing. I really want to see how that plays. Also, you have Alfred Morris as their backup running back. Now, Alfred Morris's rookie season, I believe, he had a lot of good rushing numbers. I think he was well into the thousands. He was a 1,000-yard rusher whenever he was there with the Redskins. Obviously, he had RG3 doing option, but he's still a good running back there, and you're still probably going to have some pretty good play by Alfred Morris. I do like him as a back, and I feel like he'll become a future running back somewhere, probably Denver in the future, or maybe Baltimore or whatever. But more important, though, I want to see how well he does. But he has to play at a great level. Alfred Morris has to play at a great level to fill in the role of Ezekiel Elliott. And this could also play a role on Ezekiel Elliott, whether he's just a product of the O-line. So this suspension means a lot right here of what can happen. Now, when I look at the violence issue in the NFL, since the NFL has a reputation for sometimes drafting too many players from the hood, obviously that's where a lot of the talent is. That's just how it is, but sometimes they do some acts that are quite regrettable, and a lot of people are kind of quite upset that these players get into the NFL. So when I look at this, Elliott's definitely going to get suspended. The NFL has to learn that they're definitely going to crack down. Also, the big news about feminism, just in the modern era, just feminism in general, when it comes to millennials or just in 2017, it's just very important just to be kind of strong on these issues and be very, very strict on this. Also, when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys are also known as a team with a bunch of criminals. Well, at least ever since Jerry Jones got in there. I remember Michael Irvin got into a lot of trouble. Some of the Dallas Cowboys offensive linemen got into a lot of trouble. The Cowboys like drafting some players with some issues. I mean, they like signing players with some issues. You got Terrell Owens. You got Dez Bryant, who come out of college, who really had some issues. But at the same time, though, when it comes to Bryant, he kind of cleaned up his act. Terrell Owens did not, but that's the other thing. They signed Greg Hardy and all that. So, Jerry Jones likes to gamble on those players a lot, if they're talented, of course. But sometimes the Dallas Cowboys will draft a good person. I thought Tony Romo was a pretty good person, besides being kind of going away to Mexico for vacation during the bye week of 2007. And this was a playoff bye week. This wasn't a regular season bye week. Playoff bye week right before he faced a divisional rival and, of course, lost in the first round they played in. So, tops to them. And there's this rumor going out here and it was kind of talked about, I forget what show, it might have been talked about on Fox, but a lot of people feel like Dallas Cowboys players get away with a lot of stuff and that the NFL just doesn't crack down. So there's this idea that the NFL has some sort of bias to the Dallas Cowboys. Well, the only reason why I would see a bias to the Dallas Cowboys is maybe if there is a bias there to them, is because they're the Cowboys' very big fan base, and whenever they're on TV, a lot of people like to watch them deep, so it helps their ratings go up a lot or something at that much. That's how I see it. Do I think the Cowboys don't get in trouble for having convicts? Maybe, possibly. It's never something I've really thought of, but I don't really think there's a bias there in the NFL. I know some people like to point at bias. I know a lot of Patriots fans like to point at bias that the NFL is against the Patriots and all that. And I think that's just something to, or just in general, everyone just hates Roger Goodell. I mean, is that really hard to say? And is that really hard to admit? I mean, I don't even like Roger Goodell. I don't think anyone likes Roger Goodell. I don't even think Roger Goodell's wife or boyfriend or whatever he's saying even likes him. You just look at it, a lot of people just don't really look at this. I don't really see that kind of bias right there to the Cowboys. Yes, very popular fan base. Yes, a team a lot of people like to bandwagon on. Yes, they can. It's kind of one of these franchises that a lot of people don't like, and I understand why and all. But overall, when I look at this, I think the Cowboys, I'm going to leave that to interpretation to my audience to watch. Do you guys think the Cowboys have a double standard? And usually I respond when it comes to comments and all of that on this one, but when it comes to the questions and all, I definitely think that I will kind of leave it open-ended. I just want to see people's thoughts. They probably won't get to respond. I usually debate, but you have something else, whether that's on another topic, I would probably respond to that. But overall, guys, I made some videos on why I think Dak Prescott's overrated, why I do not think he's the next Tom Brady. Links in the description. I've also had multiple stories about Ezekiel Elliot down below that were probably made like last month or a couple weeks ago or whatever. I kind of forget when they were. Have that down. Links in the description. Also articles in the link in the description. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.